Hi there and welcome back. Today I thought we'd make some watercolors together. For this you are going to need a couple of things. Mainly you're gonna need some sort of pigment or eyeshadow or something. The big thing, and we're gonna do shimmering paints. The big thing you need to know when you buy something like cheap makeup and stuff is that the first ingredient needs to be mica, which is the colorant and the shimmer in them. So I have two. I have a bronze, bronzing pearls, and I have a silver eyeshadow. And as you can see, I have made a ton of these colors, and I'm going to show you afterwards how some of them look. Not all of these are completely dry yet. Some of them I had a little bit too much glycerin in. Because what else you're going to need is something to mix your paint on and crush like the eyeshadow and stuff with. I usually use a palette knife. You're gonna need something to keep your paint in, like little oh my god, what you call them? The things you put in watercolor boxes, the little plastic boxes. You're gonna need some glycerin, which is a moisturizer. You could use honey, but that could get your paints to mold after a while. And you're gonna need some gum arabic. I bought powdered gum arabic and I mixed it myself. I just put boiling water over the powder and used a mixing rod to mix it up. This is something that hardens but gets re-moisturized when water is added to it. So you can use this for making your own lickable envelopes and stuff as well. Glycerin I got from an internet shop that sells things to make your own cosmetics. Here in Sweden you can get it at like pharmacies and stuff as well. So okay, so we have our things, and I'm gonna make a mix of these two colors because I'm thinking this would maybe make a nice rosy gold, which could be fun. So I'm gonna start off. These were pearls and I've already made this color, so I've crushed all these up. And I'm always on the lookout for cheap makeup that contains a lot of mica. So I usually buy when I find cheap in different colors and stuff. And then we have this silver one. And you can see this is not completely mushed. We will mush it some more. And I'm thinking about 50-50 should make a nice. It would have been good for like not such a dark silver. And if you make these as well, you could always use, I use like for, if I make too much to fit in one of my pots, I keep the rest in this one and just let it dry. So okay, so here we go. We have our, let's see, I think I'm gonna go a little bit like that and zoom in a bit, like so. Should be able to see. And then I just make sure to smush it. And you need to have a dry like eyeshadow or something, not a cream one that has added different kinds of additives to it to make it creamy. And let's hope this makes a nice pretty watercolor. And this is actually kind of fun to do, I think. I sat for, the ones I have are made during 3 different times. I only had a couple to start with, and then I got a bunch more, and when I finished doing them I found a place that had some cheap eyeshadow and stuff. So I got some more and made up those as well, which is kind of fun. And look at this color. This is a pretty cool color. So I'm just mixing these together and trying to get all lumps and stuff out of it, just to get a smooth mixture when we add in the wet stuff. And it doesn't matter if your paints are still a bit wet, like if you add a little bit too much glycerin. I haven't found it to be a big problem. It will evaporate as time goes. Now you see we have a pretty cool color. So I'm gonna start by adding some of my glycerin. You can still see that. And you see to this I added about a tablespoon. And the most part I'm gonna add of is the gum arabic. And I'm gonna start with that. And I'm just gonna work it in. And now you're gonna start seeing more the true color of this when it starts getting wet. So this is a pretty easy and fun technique to get some cheap colors that of your own choosing, so to speak. Aquarelle colors and stuff can be pretty expensive. And this is by no means like an artistic grade, I don't think anyways, quality of paint, but it works just fine if you're doing like mixed media, likes to play with adult coloring books and stuff like that. And now you have, and I think this is a pretty good consistency. You could always, if you find that it's too hard or too soft, or if it's too hard anyways, crush it up again and add more glycerin, or I've done that with some of my paints, and add more glycerin. Or if it's too like crumbly, you just crush it up and add more gum arabic after it's dried. So it's not a big thing. And I kind of like this color. So this is done. And you see it's kind of pasty, almost like medium hard modeling paste. You can get like tips that stay. So I'm just gonna scoop it up in my little container here. And this will probably be way too much for this container. Maybe not. It will sink a bit when drying, but I don't want this to be like flat. I want to little bit be able to put water in it and it not running on the sides. So the rest I'm just gonna put back in my little eyeshadow container. And if I ever run out of this color, well then I have more of it. I usually make less. When I usually make about that amount or less. So here we go. We have our watercolors done up. And I'm just wiping off my ceramic. This is just a tile that you tile like kitchen walls or bathroom walls with. And my palette knife, so it's nice and clean and won't contaminate other stuff. Like so. Paint on the nails. Like so. So this needs to dry up, You can use it straight away too, but I prefer to let it dry up, and I usually let it dry for at least a week or something. But let's see. I'm just gonna take, this is just some watercolor paper. So I'm gonna take and spray down my already made colors. And this is why I like to keep them in plastic containers, since you put water and metal might rust. Some of these are still like wet. They're soft colors. So some of them will not need a lot of water. And some of them contained more pigment and less mica. So some of them are not going to be very shimmery, which is fine too. First, we're gonna try our newly made paint. So I'm just, let's see, zoom you out a bit. I'm just wet brush, picking up some paint, dry paper. And you see, this is a pretty sheer color. But I can already see the shimmer in it, which is kind of nice. Some paper. So I can wipe my brush off. Now we're gonna try some of my other colors. I know I have some in here that are absolutely gorgeous. Let's try this one, which is a gold one. Just get it a bit more wet. This one is one of the harder ones. And as you can see, it's becoming like pasty, which is really nice. Look at this one. It's like a bronzy gold, and it's really opaque. And if I want to add some more water to it, this is why I want them to dry, because it's easier to get the paint dispersion better. Let's see, maybe this one. This is one of the more recent ones I made. This is like a nude color. Get some more water on it. This one is also very nice. It's a bit more sheer. And I might need to add some more gum arabic to it. But also a super nice color. I think this is the eyeshadow I used for this mix. This is one of those that hasn't firmed up yet. Also sheer, but it's a really nice silvery addition. Let's try this blackish one. Look at that. This I think is a mix between a black and the silver I used for the one I showed you. Also a really nice one. And here I have some that are not as mica filled. So I'm just gonna go in. And these are the ones I'm thinking I might have to add some more gum arabic to. These are also like nice. They're nice and sheer. And let's see. Maybe try this pink one. Pinkish, purplish, mauvish. And why I say I think I need to add more gum arabic to it is because when I try to add water to it, you can see it becomes more paste than like let's see this one that is one of my absolute favorites. Look at this one, the difference in how it behaves. This one is smooth and it becomes like paste-like, but it's more not granular in some way, and that is partly the gum arabic. So I'm gonna use my heat gun and just dry these up, and I'll show you the shimmer on them. You can see, there you go. You can see some of the shimmer. You get some water droplets. But they all have shimmer in different quantities. Like that gold is like beautiful. And even this one is really shimmery. They're sheer but really, really shimmery. This one has a more subtle shimmer. It's more like a wink of Stella or something. This one as well. This one as well. It has like almost a green shimmer to it, which is really subtle, and it's really hard to get on camera. But let's see. Now I want to mix in some more gum arabic. I usually just get out my plate or tile again, and you can see it's a bit crumbly, which it shouldn't be. It's not a big deal, it's just a little bit too crumbly. So I'm gonna add in some more gum arabic, and this one hasn't dried yet. I made these about a little less than a week ago. I think you can see the, zoom you in a bit. Like so. And I hope you can see some of the shimmer in this. It's like Aurora Borealis kind of, or hollow type of shimmer. It's a bit bigger flecks than some of the other ones. Now I think this one is a nice one. So I'm just putting it back. And I'm trying to get it smooth, which is not the easiest thing. And I'm gonna let this dry, but I want to check out and see if the paint is more easily dispersed. So I'm gonna zoom you out again. Like so. And I'm gonna take my newly made paint. And you see now, if you can see it, since it's still wet, but you can see the consistency is more in line with the gold, and it's not as like pasty, pigmenty on the brush. So let's see. Oh yeah, it's behaving much better, which is really nice. So that's an easy way to fix it. And as you can see, it disperses the paint a bit better, which is what you want. So that's how you make your own cheap watercolors. Fun way and a nice way to play with colors. So that's it. I hope you have a great day. and got inspired, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!